Because I don't think that question has ever been asked. What are black women willing to do to save the black community? Nothing.
Nothing.
No, okay. What has the question ever been posed to black women?
I will say, I think in a roundabout way, yeah, it has, and I'm still doing. I still have my Facebook. I still get out within the community. Black women aren't willing to do anything, and I keep saying because they're able to get certain types of validation and they're able to make the money. I hear for what? Like, why would I?
How much proof do you need?
I'm not saying we should have a special victim status, but our circumstance is different. We are women.
We are less You're 24 years old. Is your circumstance harder or easier than your grandmother and your great-grandmother?
Exponentially easier. We have access to information we didn't have.
Exponentially easier, but you're handling it worse. Your grandmother, your great-grandmother actually could work with a black man with more trauma.
Because they understood that the black woman and the black man are on the same side. Now that we're all free and independent and we could do whatever we want to, why would we seek to, be one with the black man? We even think that being...
Thank you. Clip it, slice it, put it on World Star. She said it, not me.
How much proof do you need?
To go on social media as a woman and you can post pictures and you can get all the validation and attention you need for whatever that time frame is, and you rinse and you repeat. When you're not able to get the attention on a certain form of social media, if you can't get it on Facebook, you go to Instagram. If you can't go to Instagram, you go to Twitter. If you can't go to Twitter, you go to Snapchat. After you do that, and let's say you still didn't get enough attention, you can go to Tinder, you can go to Plenty of Fish, you can swipe right, and it's instant. And then she's able to have her affirmative action job, and she's still able to make a certain amount of money and drive whatever kind of car and live. She can be in debt. But people act like if women are going through a certain thing that they care about these things like normal society, and it's just not the case. They don't care.
How much proof do you need?
So I'm currently...
All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Dash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. So what you saw just there was a video showing that these so-called women out there are completely lost, man. Alright? They're lost. They love Esau. Alright? They're prepared to get on their knees and love Esau and the so-called power that he's gave them, which isn't no power, because as Esau falls, right, all of these women, if you can even call them that, are going to fall also. And here's a scripture right here. This is Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. And none of these women in this society, right, are righteous. All right, none of them. None of these women in this society are righteous. And King Solomon, who was a king, right, he was a king, man, and he had like riches beyond what you can imagine. He even said that there's nothing good about these women. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Behold, I have found, saith the preacher, counting one by one, to find the account which yet my soul seeketh for, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. So when Solomon had 1,000 women, right, he had 700 wives, 300 concubines, or it might have been 300 wives, 700 concubines. Either way, he had 1,000 women, man. And when he was doing that, he wasn't just doing it for the purpose of, I want to just be throwing my what's between my legs around. He was actually doing research, man. He was actually doing research, and what he found is that among 1,000 women, ain't none of them righteous, all right? Because he was smart enough and wise enough to know that he's supposed to test women, all right? You're not supposed to just be making women be around you, right? Doing things for them, or being prepared to put your life on the line to protect them when that woman's no good, all right? He was wise and understood that these women despite all the riches that he had, he was wise enough to know that they're garbage, man. All right, that there's nothing too righteous about them, and there's gonna come a time in this world where all this stuff that Esau gave all these women is gonna be dragged out of their hands, man. Right, and when that happens, in fact, let me go to that scripture first. When that happens, all these women are gonna be trying to come around these men that have been given, that are the new leaders, which is the men of the elect to the nation of Israel, and a lot of them are gonna be told to kick rocks, man. Right, a lot of them are gonna be told to kick rocks. Because they was proud, and because they was disgusting, man, and because these men now that have been given the spirit are going to be able to see the defiled nature of these women, man, and they're going to be trying to run upon these men, and a lot of them are going to be getting told to get lost, man. Isaiah 32 and verse 9: Rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women. And that's starting to happen now. A lot of these women are starting to realise that they've been lied to right now, because they've been working all their life with these jobs that Esau gave them. But with these jobs Esau gave them, right? So like, 1 second. With these jobs that Esau gave them, they still don't have nothing anyway, because they don't own a house, right? They've got a car and finance. They don't own nothing for all their labour that they've been doing for the past decade, or decade and a half, or 2 decades, or 3 decades. They don't own nothing. All they've got is a house that they're paying rent on, right? No kids, or they've got loads of kids by several different fathers, but they don't own nothing. So if they stop working, they're effed, because they don't own nothing for all their labour that they put in anyway. They don't own a house so that they can live in that house and it's theirs. They don't own a company so that their company can be bringing them income in without them having to work a larger portion of time, so that they can have passive income, so that they can have freedom to relax and not have to work every single day. They can't miss 2-3 months of work because they'd be broke. But these women, like I said at the start, are lost, man. And they think that they're doing something when they've got all these men that are dealing with them. But all that they're getting is a higher and higher body count. They ain't getting no husband from all their behaviour. They're just lost. They got all these pictures showing their whole batty crease online, right? To where a man knows what they look like naked without even having to be with them. And some of them will be doing this when they've got a boyfriend, if you want to call it that, and when they've got a husband, which really, a boyfriend, a husband, is the same thing, because once a man sleeps with a woman, if he's the first man that slept with her, he's her husband according to the scriptures. But these women are lost, like I just said, man. Isaiah 32 and verse 9: Rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. All these stuff that you women have been given is eventually going to be taken away, man, because Esau only used it to destroy the Israelite man. He didn't do it because he cares about you, but you were too dumb to see it. And really, you heard it from those women in that video, they don't care. They said, we don't care. If we can have power, why would we give it up? And she said that people think that women will care if they're going through this like people in normal society, but they don't care, man. These women do not care about the Israelite man. They don't care about the Israelites. As long as they can have power to be able to get away with things they want to get away with, they don't care. As long as they can get pregnant by one dude, pretend it's another man's kid because he makes more money, and then get 18 years worth of money out of that man, and he can never get the money back, they don't care. As long as they can marry a guy and then be cheating on that guy for many years, and he doesn't ever find out, and then when they divorce the man, they can get half of his stuff when they never did half the work. They don't care, right? But they think that they're going to get away with this stuff. But the day is going to come, man, when Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is going to bring these women's dishonest and cruel nature right in front of their face, man, and they're going to be out there getting hurt, man. They're going to be out there in the world getting hurt when the day of the Lord's wrath comes. And they women will stumble upon this and hear these things and be like, yeah, right. I'll just cry. Yeah, right. I'm pretty enough to where some man will give me his funds so that he can will give me things so that he can be with me. Well, in a day that I'm talking about, the man won't be needing to give you anything to get those things that you're talking about, because he'll be able to get it for free. If you understand what I'm saying. All right. Verse 11, tremble ye women are at ease, be troubled ye careless ones, strip ye and make ye bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant field, for the fruitful vine. They're going to be looking around, man, binoculars and everything, man, looking for where those fun times were that they had. Where were those fun days when I was able to just walk into a place with no money and get all of these things, when I didn't have to have any money in my bank, but I was able to go on all these fancy holidays. I was able to just be alive and not even be a nice person. And people wanted to buy me things. They're going to be hoping for those times, but those times ain't never coming back for you women, man. Because that was stuff that Esau gave, and that was the way how this wicked society promoted and gave women liberty to be whores. This is Micah chapter 7 and verse 10, going into when these women find out, man, that the only reason why these Israelite men was brought into such a low position was because they sinned against Yahweh. This is Micah chapter 7 and verse 8. Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. And that's what these women did. The Israelite man's down. Oh, black men are always in prison. Oh, men, you need to shut up and get a job. You need to do this. You need to do that. N-words ain't shit. Niggas ain't shit. Oh, black men don't look after their kids. All of this all of this shit, man, that they used to talk. But the day is going to come where it's going to be exposed that you were the ones also that weren't worth nothing. And that the Israelite man was brought down because he sinned against Yahweh, but you also sinned against Yahweh because you're Israelites too. But you wanted to try and hide that you sinned. And then you was talking smack about the best people in the world, because the Israelites are the best people in the world, and men are more valuable to Yahweh than women. So when you're talking smack about an Israelite man, you're talking smack about the future rulers of the world for eternity. For eternity, man. And when you women realize you've did that, you're going to be confounded and confused, man, and trying to beg for these men to try and be with you, but they're not going to want to be with you. And the men that you're glorifying now, the Edomite man, not only is he going to drop from top nation to the bottom nation, but he's not even going to be around eventually, according to Obadiah the 18th chapter. He's not even going to be around for you to try and say anything to him. He's not going to be there. He's going to be extinct, because he's a low life too. Micah chapter 7 and verse 8, rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the light of the Lord shall be a light unto me, which he is right now, waking up men so that they want to do the right thing according to the scriptures, man, so that we can get the kingdom that's waiting for us. Verse 9, I will bear the indignation of the Lord, which we are. We're accepting all this stuff. We get annoyed by it, but we're accepting it, man. We understand why you women are against us now, because we sinned against Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. We understand it. Because I have sinned against him until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. So he's going to take us out of this position that he's put us in, where people think that they can just say whatever they want to say, whatever the hell they want to say against us, man, and with any regard about there being any repercussions for the things that they say against us. But all of these things are being recorded and noted. And everyone that said stuff about the Israelite man, especially those of the elected nation of Israel, is going to have to pay for those things that they said. Watch your mouth. Watch your tongues, man. Because the things that you're saying against the Israelite men, especially those that are teaching the Bible, especially those that are teaching the true doctrine of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, you're going to have to pay for those things, man. Verse 10, then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, the Lord thy God, where is the Lord thy God? Mine eyes shall behold her, now she shall be trodden down as a mire of the streets. And I ain't really ever seen any women that really believe in the scriptures, man. There's always something that I got a problem with, and mainly it's the stuff to do with how a man can have multiple women. That's mainly the main thing that they got a problem with, man. Because they don't really believe in the scriptures, man. And surely there's some women out there that believe in the scriptures, but I ain't never seen one. But you women are gonna learn. You women are gonna learn, man. And those women that are in that video, that I played at the start, they ain't gonna be chosen, man. You think a man of the Lord that's enlightened with what's going on in the world is gonna pick a woman like that to be his wife in the kingdom of heaven forever? Hell no. Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. And in that day, what day? In a day where Yahweh does the things that was mentioned in Micah 7 and 10 when he pleased the cause of the Israelite men. So like Micah chapter 7 verse 9, when he pleased the cause of the Israelite men and turns his captivity and be a light unto him and removes him from darkness and gives him power over his enemies in that day. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And that's when men are going to have the power. Just like how women right now, right, will expect you to prove to them after they had another guy before you that didn't have to prove a goddamn thing, right? They'll expect you to try and go through this Hunger Games type activity in order to be with them, right? When they've already gave what you're supposed to be fighting for. They've already might have gave it to 20 geezers before you, 30, 40, 50, but they'll expecting you to be trying to do something special that those people before didn't have to do. And every single time a woman, Salakia, gets with another dude, she expects the next guy to do something more to get her body than what the previous guys had to do. Because, like I said, these women are lost and deluded in this world, man. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And it's going to be made manifest that they don't know what the hell they're doing when this society goes into chaos. Because Instagram, OnlyFans, all their jobs ain't going to mean nothing. They ain't going to mean nothing when as the society is being changed and where the society is being passed from one people to another. None of the stuff in this world is going to mean anything, because this world and this rulership is going to be passed on. So everything that people know right now and believe in right now, the day is going to come where none of it means anything, because it's going to be passed on to new people that are going to make a new world, a new heavens, and a new earth. Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. So for the Israelites that don't get destroyed in their coming destruction, they're going to receive beautiful things. And they're going to want women that have pure souls, man. Pure hearts to bring into that stuff with them. Because and I'll say this as well before I end the lesson, what a lot of you Israelite women don't seem to understand, yeah, is that the Israelite man is what continues on the nation. So if every single Israelite woman, and this is something for you to really think about, man. If every single Israelite woman was dead, right, the nation of Israel would still be able to continue on and be Israelites. If every single Israelite man was dead, the nation of Israel would eventually become extinct. And that's why when you read the book of Exodus, Pharaoh wanted to kill the Israelite men, the Israelite boys. He didn't care if the Israelite women survived. He didn't care, because he understood that the men are the ones that decide the lineage. And I'll say it again, so you can really understand that you need to respect the Israelite men. Just like how the Israelite men is supposed to respect Yahweh Shai, and just like how Yahweh Shai is supposed to respect Yahweh. I'll say it again what I just said. If every single Israelite woman was to die, the nation of Israel would still continue through the men, because we are the ones that carry the lineage within us. Whereas if every single Israelite man was to die, the Israelite nation would become extinct, because women do not decide the nation, do not decide the lineage. So that would mean that if every single Israelite man was to die, that there'd be no way that the Israelites can be under the new covenant no more, because they'd eventually fade out. They wouldn't be able to be under the new covenant forever, because the nation would eventually fade out, because there'd be no way that any more Israelites can be born. So all those women under the new covenant would eventually have children by heathens that were not under the new covenant. And that's something for people to really, for you women to really think about, man, when you're running your mouth against men, when you're running your mouth talking about Israelite men, and then at the same time talking about, you read the scriptures but can't seem to see that in the scriptures there's curses that the Israelite man was going to go under. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.